What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Emphasis on Sports. My name is Damon Anthony. I'm your host. As usual, we kick the bobo about sports. We really just keep it on sports, and I try to talk about all of them, but not today. Listen, the NBA season is here. We got to do a preview. We got to do a breakdown. We're going to talk divisions. We're going to talk playoffs. I'm going to give you my finals pick. I'm going to tell you who I believe is going to be the champion. Let's see what happens. Gotta love sports, right? So let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. I live out here, so don't go there. You know what I mean? Let's start with the Atlantic Division. Now, the Atlantic Division, I believe, is going to be pretty tough. I mean, Boston's in there. Boston looks like the strongest team in the league. I believe, one, they have a chip on their shoulder. They lost before they won, which always kicks you in your ass a little bit. And you know that hunger. Jason Tatum didn't get a good run in the Olympics. We know he's going to come out. He's locked in. He's ready to go. I believe he's going to want to try and go for that MVP. Derek White, we saw some emergence in the Olympics. He's going to continue to get better. Now, Jaylen Brown, a lot of people are saying he's actually the best player on that team. That kind of gives you a natural big three there. So let's see what goes on with Boston. But also in that division, you got Philly. Now, Philly, they're an iffy team to me this year. Sure, you add Paul George. We know you got a quote unquote big three there with Maxey, George, and Embiid. But with Embiid coming out and saying that he doesn't really plan on playing the second game of back-to-backs, that takes a lot away from the team and from just the vibe and how everything runs. So I don't really know where that team's going to be, but I don't got them better than Boston. Now, the New York Knicks, they're also in that division. This one's going to be a little tricky with them. You bring in Cat, you get rid of Julius Randle, get rid of DiVincenzo, you bring in Mikal Bridges also. Does this make New York better? I believe it's going to take them about 15 to 20 games to kind of gel and be what they're supposed to be, but I still like Boston in that division. In that division, I'm going to go Boston, New York, Philly, then the rest of them. Brooklyn Nets, Toronto Raptors, I don't see it. I just don't see it. You guys are teams that you're going to have some good games. You're going to be okay. But all in all, I just don't see you guys taking this division or even challenging for this division. Let's move to the Central. Now, the Central also has three solid teams, three real solid teams. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're a team that they need experience. For the most part, other than Donovan Mitchell, they're a little younger of a team. They're getting their feet under them. They're learning. They brought in Kenny Atkinson. He's a pretty good coach, especially with guards. Now, last year, Cleveland looked all right throughout the season, but they lost their backcourt to injury in the playoffs and got smoked by Boston. Is Evan Mobley, is this going to be when he starts to hit that next step? I believe he needs to get a little bulkier and just play with the not give a fuck attitude. Just I'm better than y'all, so I'm gonna beat y'all. But we're gonna see how that works out. I'm not really 100% sure what that Cleveland team is gonna look like, but I think they're gonna be a little better than they were last year. We also have the Bucks. Fear the dare. Now this is gonna be year 2 with Damian Lillard playing with the Greek Freak, playing with Giannis. Big question here, is Chris Middleton going to be able to come back healthy and give that same effort that they did the year they won the championship? That is yet to be seen. Now, I believe that Dame, I think his feet are in there now. He knows what's going on. He knows how to play with everybody there. They all know how to play with him. I think they're going to also challenge for a top seed in the Eastern Conference. They're going to be a damn good team. We also have the Pacers. Now, listen, last year, Pacers kind of did their thing. Sure, they were able to kind of get by on some teams that might have been a little injured, might have been a little banged up here or there in the playoffs, but that doesn't mean they're not a good team. Halliburton, damn good, a damn good point guard, one of the best in the game. That being said, I don't have the Pacers winning this division. I think they're going to challenge for a playoff spot. I think they might be able to make a little bit of noise, not a lot, a little bit of noise, but I don't have them going for that top spot there. The bottom two teams in the Central Division, they're going to be the bottom two teams. Detroit Pistons, not going to be good. The Bulls, not going to be good. Simple as that. I'm not going to go into detail on those teams. They're going to be those also ran teams. That's what that's going to be. And we got the Southeast Division. Now, the Southeast Division, that one could get a little funky. You got the Miami Heat there, who I think are going to win that division with no problem. Jimmy, Bam, Tyler. I think they're going to win that division. They're always going to be a tough-nosed, strong, grit, go-after-it team. But then you also have Orlando. Orlando's kind of like Cleveland in that young, finding themselves, getting that experience. A player that nobody really talks about is Paolo Banchero. That dude hoops. That dude absolutely hoops. Him and Suggs down there, they're putting together something solid, especially on the young side of things. They're going to be able to get up and down that court and get after you. They're going to challenge Miami to win that division. I think Miami's going to win it, but it's not going to be super easy. Not at all. Charlotte's another team that they're going to be all right. Now, LaMelo, we know what he brings. Last year, they got Brandon Miller. They're going to be one of these teams that they're going to continue to get better as long as they have the proper leadership on the sideline. I don't think that they vie for the division title, but I think they're going to be a lot better than people expect. Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks, to me, fall right back to where the Atlanta Hawks have been most of my life. Average to below average. You got Trae Young, yeah, sure, sweet. He's gonna put up buckets. There's gonna be some exciting moments. But all in all, I don't think they're a real good team. Bottom of the barrel in that division, the Washington Wizards. Say less, right? They haven't been a good team for a minute, and they're gonna continue to not be a good team. I don't know what goes on with them, but definitely just a very blah team. We look over at the Western Conference. Now, the Northwest Division, that's tough. That's a tough division. I think Oklahoma City Thunder take that division. Remember who they were last year? A damn good team. Damn good team. Didn't get it done in the playoffs, but now we're returning everybody. Real young mob. SGA, balls. We know this. But then you go out and you add Hartenstein. Then you go out and you add Caruso to a team that could play and play damn good ball. We know Chet Holmgren's going to come back and he's going to be a little bit better. I like them to win this division, even with the teams that are in it. Let's talk about those other teams. One of them is Denver Nuggets. Now, bringing Westbrook on this team, I think, is a really good thing for them. He knows he doesn't have to be the guy. He knows he doesn't have to be, the playmaker, but he also has a playmaker that's equally as good as him on making people better on the court and who's unselfish. Joker's going to play real well with Westbrook, I believe. I think they're going to be at the top of their division, right up there with OKC. I just think Oklahoma City's a little better. Now, you also have the Minnesota Timberwolves in that division. I'm telling you, this is a rough division. This is kind of like the Atlantic Division in the Eastern Conference. Minnesota's going to come out and they're going to be a damn good team. I think they're more dangerous in the playoffs than the regular season because I don't think they're a team that you want to see in a 7-game series. But they're also playing in this tough-ass division. Now, the only reason I don't really have them at the top because you traded Cat. You brought in Randall. You brought in DiVincenzo. So now they have to learn everybody. It's going to take a little longer to gel. And when they gel, are they going to be just one of the top teams in the league? Sure. But when you look at OKC, when you look at Denver, these are guys that, for the most part, they've been together. Russell Westbrook, Hartenstein, Caruso, they're not the guys that make the engine run there. When you took Cat away from Minnesota, he's part of what makes that engine run. So I got them being, very much in the playoffs, very much making noise, but I don't see them winning this division. You also have Utah. Utah is going to be a sneaky, scary team. They're going to win some games. They're going to win. They might run off, have some stretches of 5 wins, 6 wins, and then they'll lose a couple. They're going to win some games. They're going to be a good team. I don't know how far they're going to go. Maybe they make the playoffs. I don't think they're a world beater, but they're, having teams like that, sometimes tough to get around throughout the season. Last team in that division, Portland. Portland's not going to be that good. They're a team that's young. They're trying to get a little older. They're trying to get more experience. I just don't really see it with them. Let's move to the Pacific. Now, the Pacific, to me, is a little more wide open. I think Phoenix wins that division. Let's see how Bradley Beal in year 2 meshes with Book and meshes with Durant. We know that they have some other pieces on that team that could just play good in a functional manner. But, there's nobody else really in that division that I can say are just head and shoulders above Phoenix. We also have the Golden State Warriors. Clay's gone. Steph's older. Draymond's older. We know that you have Kuminga. We know that you have some of these other younger players. You got Wig that can help bridge and move on to the next iteration of the Warriors. That being said, I still don't think that they're this great team. They're not the great Warriors that we've seen. They're going to be okay. They may make the playoffs. They might squeak in the playoffs. And I'm talking 8, 9, 10. I don't know. There's nothing about the Warriors that make me say, hey, they're going to go out and smack people in the face at all. It's really just they got Steph. So they should be all right. And we got the Lakers. Now, the Lakers, this is an interesting one because on paper, they should be, really at the top, somewhere close to the top of the West. LeBron's entering his 1,000th year, and he's playing consistently solid basketball. But AD, this is the year that AD needs to lock down and MVP it and stay healthy. And we can see the Lakers maybe going deep, maybe getting into playoffs and going deep. I want to see who their third scorer is, who their third option is. Is Rui going to be that guy? Austin Reeves? Let's see what happens with Connect. We're going to see Bronny, throughout the season here or there, but I don't got him as being anyone that's going to be really carry this team. He might hit a couple key shots here or there, but I don't think he really adds that much of the whole of this team. Now, another team that's in this division that part of the reason why I say it's a little wide open, Sacramento Kings. I think the Kings they're going to get in the playoffs and they're going to make some noise. They're going to be the reason why one of these teams that we talk about isn't in there. They've always been, or I won't say always, but the last couple of years, we know that they have a young nucleus that's been learning and getting a lot better. De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, we know this, Malik Monk. Well, now you add DeMar DeRozan. What DeMar DeRozan is a walking bucket. We know he's a mid-range game specialist. The dude scores with no issues. Now he's back in California. Now he's back in an environment that he knows a lot better. He'll breathe a little more. I think Sacramento is going to be actually a really good team. Last team in this division is the Clippers. Clippers are a toss-up team. They're a toss-up team. I know Harden's going to have a good year. Harden's going to put up numbers. He's going to be a solid player. What's up with Kawhi? Now, Kawhi, we understand he's hurt, still coming off an injury, still not right. There's no real timetable on when he's going to come back. That's going to affect the Clippers because they need him to be an actual really good team. If not, they're just an average team. Now, like I said, I got Phoenix winning this division. Lakers could win this division. The Kings could win this division. This is a real wide open division, but I like the Suns in this one. Let's move to the Southwest. Now, in the Southwest, you got the Dallas Mavericks. That's my squad. Now, Dallas, they reached all the way to the finals last year. They've added some pieces. Everyone is expecting this to be Luka's MVP year. Well, one, they're going to have to prove it and they're going to have to show it. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. But, I just don't know about Dallas. They're backcourt heavy. And in the front court, we got a lot of young pieces and some road traveling guys. I think Dallas is going to be real good. I don't have them winning this division, but I got them in the playoffs making some noise. The team I have winning this division is actually the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, the one thing that hinges on the Pelicans, the one thing is going to be Zion. If Zion could be healthy, because we saw a healthy Zion at the end of the year right before he got hurt, actually dominating games. He was doing his thing. And the way that these Pelicans are lined up, they're going to be a tough team. They're going to be a real tough out. I like them to win this division. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies also in this division, and they're going to be a real tough team too. Remember, they drafted Zach Edey, big 7-footer. It's not something that you see that often in the league is these 7-footers coming out of college. League's kind of gotten away from them, just far and few between. But you also have the return of Ja Morant. Look, love him, hate him, call him what you want. Ja's a beast. And I think he's going to have this Memphis team moving in the right direction. They're going to challenge Dallas. They're going to challenge New Orleans, definitely. So are the San Antonio Spurs. Now we know Wemby is going to ball. Wemby, people say he's an alien and all that. But bringing Chris Paul adds some grit to that team. A guy that's going to, pluck some nerves for that team. That's going to help these young guys. That's going to help Wemby a lot, especially with Pop as the coach. Do I think they win the division? No. But do I think that they're going to be a tough team to beat? Absolutely. Now, bottom of that division, I'm going to say the Houston Rockets. We know they have a young nucleus. We know they have Emmy as a coach. We know that they're going to be a solid team, just a decent team. I just don't think that they're better than the other teams in this division. They're a team that maybe 2 years away with the right, having that experience, maybe bringing in the right piece, getting rid of somebody. We'll see how that works, that they could be there. This just isn't the year for it. So now when I look at the playoffs, when I look at the playoff picture, one thing I'm going to say is I hate the play-in games. The fact that 8 teams play 7-game series, that's just what it should be. There's already 16 damn teams in the playoffs. You don't need to make it 20. It's only 30. There's only been so many teams in the league. All right, come on now. So for me, when I look at the playoff picture, I'm not looking at the 10 teams on each side. I'm looking at 8. I'm telling you what I think is the 8 best teams. So now on the East, no particular order. Boston, Philly, New York, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Indiana, Miami, Orlando. Those are the 8 teams that I see making the playoffs. I don't know how it shakes out, but I think we're going to see Boston and New York in the Eastern Conference Finals, which will be freaking awesome to see. If that's what we see, I like Boston. I like Boston to come out of the East. As long as if all of this is with everyone with 100% health. If everyone's healthy, I like Boston. Come out of the East, no problem. Nothing against any of these other teams. They're running it back with guys that have a reason to play better. Remember, Jalen, he wasn't happy he wasn't put on the Olympic team. Jason Tatum could barely crack the Olympic team. Now Derek White has to prove why he was on the Olympic team. As well as nobody's won back-to-back championships for a little bit. So the Celtics, being the Celtics, they want to be that team that's going to do that. So absolutely love the Celtics coming out of the East. Let's look at the Western Conference. This one gets a little funky, right? I like in the playoffs, Denver, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, New Orleans, Dallas, Phoenix, Sacramento. We'll sneak the Lakers in there. One way or another, I think the Lakers are going to be in the playoffs. Maybe they were one of those playing games, and if it's just a 1-game series, I'm going to take a team with LeBron and AD on it over most anybody. Now on the West, it's tough to pick a team that's going to go to the finals because the West, I don't think there's that many standout teams. It's not like in the East where you have the Celtics and they're just so great. Dallas isn't so great that I'm just going to say they're going to run through the Western Conference. But what I will probably say is this may be Oklahoma City's year to make the finals. They're a team that they could do it. They lost last year, but there's nothing that tells me that they can't get through the West at all. Especially adding some of the players that they added. That only helps. Hartenstein to be the anchor in the middle and just let Chet play stretch 4 and float all around, and down in the dirt down there, you're locked in and you're good. I like Oklahoma City. Give me them in the finals. So my finals preview matchup is going to be the Boston Celtics versus Oklahoma City Thunder. Boston wins again. I like Boston to win again. I think Boston's head and shoulders the best team in the entire league, especially if they're healthy. Let's just see how the year unfolds. There are some teams that definitely can give them some problems, and then pending who makes it on the Western Conference. Listen, if Minnesota makes it there, Minnesota I think might be the one team that might knock Boston off, only because there's a little bit of hunger in Anthony Edwards that you don't really see from everybody else. and they got their ass whooped last year. So I think they understand exactly how to look at this year from a strength, conditioning, mental standpoint. But I mean, as we sit here, I like Boston to win it again. Now, NBA, it's fantastic. Let's rock. Season is upon us. It's rolling. We'll continue to talk NBA. We'll continue to talk NFL. World Series is happening. NHL is happening. College football is jumping. But we had to talk about the NBA and give a solid preview on that. All right. So until next time, be good or be good at it. I will holler.